So in part one of our procedure, what you need to do and what we're trying to do is figure out basically the most effective way to dry a damp coffee filter. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to take these coffee filters and fold them in half like such, and then fold them in half again. Now, this portion of the coffee filter that has the ridges, what I want you to do is rip that off. The reason is because we want to use these coffee filters, but have as little of the coffee filter remaining as possible. Now, once you've done that with 3 coffee filters, what you're going to do is label these coffee filters C1, C2, and C3, and then label watch glasses C1, C2, and C3 to correspond to those. Once you've done that, you're going to take a coffee filter and notice how if you can open it up and there is a portion of the coffee filter that remains intact. Alternatively, you could fold it or open it all the way up, get your funnel, and put it into that funnel like such. After you've done that, you're going to get approximately 100 milliliters of deionized water. That's water from our Teflon coated or our plastic faucet. You're going to pour that into here so that your coffee filter becomes completely saturated with water. Now, what we're wanting to analyze there is for C1, for one of our first coffee filters, we're going to take the wet coffee filter and put it in the oven right back here. And this is in Chem 117. In Chem 114, we have another oven. That oven is at about 60 degrees Celsius. You're going to put your damp coffee filter in there, and you're going to come back and check it after 15 minutes, then after 30 minutes, and then after 45 minutes. And when I say check it, what you're going to do is you're going to take the coffee filter on the watch glass from the oven to the digital balance to determine the mass of it after 15 minutes, after 30 minutes, and after 45 minutes. So you have to get an initial reading. Once it's completely saturated, what's the mass of it? Then after 15, 30, and 45 minutes. Now, whenever I say after 30 minutes, what I'm meaning is 30 minutes from your initial reading. So what that means is every 15 minutes, basically, you should check the mass of this coffee filter. Okay, now for C2, what you are going to do is you're going to do the exact same thing. Get it saturated with water, but then what makes this a little bit different is you're going to get an ethanol squirt bottle and spray that coffee filter down. You're going to try to saturate with ethanol to see if that is a more effective means of letting it or helping it dry. You're going to take that C2 and just put it someplace in your work area where it can basically air dry. Now C3 is the third coffee filter, which you're going to give the exact same treatment, saturate with water, put it onto the watch glass labeled C3, and you're just going to put that in your workspace and let it incubate at room temperature. For all 3 of these coffee filters, you want an initial mass after 15 minutes, after 30 minutes, and after 45 minutes. Now, what is extremely important about this portion of the procedure is once you've started that 15 minutes, you should proceed to the next portion of the procedure, because if you wait 45 minutes for part 1 to complete, you'll have wasted a lot of time and you'll spend a lot of time just standing, waiting. Do not do that. Proceed. Have one of the people working in your group set a timer for 15 minutes, go get the mass, reset that timer for 15 more minutes. After that 15 minutes, get the mass, and then after that last 15 minutes, get the mass again. Okay, well that's part 1 of your procedure. All that we're doing is we're trying to figure out what's the best way to dry a coffee filter. Is it in an oven? Is it at room temperature but saturated with ethanol? Or is it simply at room temperature without any ethanol involved? All right, I hope this is helpful for understanding part 1 of your procedure.